You think it's about you. It's really not about you. In fact, it never was about you. It's about the person that's just behind you a couple steps, turning around and serving others. And that's how it ends up attracting people to you, because they think, number one, that she's different. That people that use attraction marketing, they're different. They want to serve you in wherever you are, in whatever capacity. So you're meeting people where they're at instead of trying to drag them over the enrollment line, right?
All right, Brandy, thanks so much for sitting down with me. We had a chance to talk last year, but I think folks would love to hear your story. It's a great story. I mean, you literally used to spend countless hours driving around to do the kind of things that no one really wants to do. So fill us in.
Yeah, I did. So I enrolled with my current company 5 years ago, and I live in a really small town of 5,000 people. So you can imagine, once somebody knows what you're doing and you're going through your warm market, the word spreads quick. And so I needed to find another way to, prospect, find people, right? Because people are in, we have a Walmart basically where I live, 2.5 hours from anywhere more than a Walmart. So I was like, all right, I'll go, go to the city, go wherever I can to meet people, right? Join groups, networking groups, that kind of stuff. So I was like, to go prospecting, it was like a 5-hour deal. And I had a nanny and all that crazy stuff. I once drove 15 hours to do a meeting for 4 people that enrolled in Lubbock, Texas. And nobody showed up. One way, 15 hours.
This is now the new standard. Because I was speaking to a gentleman who'd driven 2 hours in a snowstorm for a no-show. But this is next level.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, someone may actually be able to legitimately question sanity at that point.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough out there to prospect, stock waitresses, hunt people in malls. I've been down to the Vegas Strip with Carrie and Witt, doing doing all that crazy stuff too. So it is crazy what we did to try to build our business, and we didn't know any better. We just didn't know. That's what we were taught, right? Go find people. You're just one person away. Go find 5 more, right? Like over and over and over again. So that's where we were.
And obviously this is somewhat, implicit because, you mentioned hiring a family, but that's hard on your family.
It is. It is very hard on your family, on your kids, and they start to wonder, well, when is this business going to pay off, right? Because you're spending the time and trying to grow the business and all of that. And all they see is that you're gone all the time. So yeah, it's pretty crazy what you'll do to, I drank the Kool-Aid. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Now, you were obviously an action taker, but and maybe this is not true of everyone, but it seems like most folks still experience some form of self-sabotage. And I'd love for you to speak about that.
Yeah, they do. It's really hard once you go through your warm market and you get a lot of rejection and stuff for people to continue to do that, to continue to get the rejection and understand. And when you're out of your warm market, then what? Because nobody's really going to enroll with you unless you have the know, like, and trust factor, right? So you have to figure it out, or your business just goes away, or dries up and people quit. That's why there's such a high quit rate in network marketing, right? 90% of them won't be here in 90 days. It's just pretty crazy.
Yeah. Which now the great news online, of course, is that think about the amount of new people that are going to be discovering attraction marketing.
Right.
So.
Right. It's pretty cool. So the way that I kind of like to look at it is it's noisy prospecting versus silent recruiting, right? So noisy is when you're up in people's faces, you're trying to get them to coffee meetings, you're trying to do, whatever it is you're doing. And silent is when they're coming to you. You've created an environment where they gravitate towards you and they're asking you, hey, how can you help me? How can I do this? What company are you in? And it just changes the whole way you do things.
There was one tip you shared that I thought was great the last time we sat down, and I think it would be useful for folks who haven't seen that. And you talked about essentially, because part of this method, right, is putting stuff out there, right? The creation of content. And that was sort of a growth process for you as well, and you really discovered how maybe you'd made that into more like mentally there was a bit more of a roadblock than there really needed to be once you kind of got into that flow of putting content out there, which then allows people to reach out to you.
Right. So what ends up happening is you think it's all about you when you first start, you're building online and you're trying to get all these people to you. You think it's about you. It's really not about you. In fact, it never was about you. It's about the person that's just behind you a couple steps, turning around and serving others. And that's how it ends up attracting people to you, because they think, number one, that she's different. That people that use attraction marketing, they're different. They want to serve you in wherever you are in whatever capacity. So you're meeting people where they're at instead of trying to drag them over the enrollment line, right? Like that's like picking up my 6'8" son and putting him on my back and, huffing him across the field where I live. Because, it's just a different sort of mindset. So once you get that you can serve others and really grow your business and give value to the industry, give value to your downline, give value to others around you that aren't even in your company, that's when the draw ends up happening.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Now tell me about attraction marketing versus what is being taught.
Okay. So attraction marketing is where people come to you, and what's being taught is let's spam our newsfeed. The join me nows, buy my product. When people put up a post that says, hey, it's the end of the month and I need one more person to enroll, right? It's all about them. It's all focused on, what they need, and they're not focusing on the benefits of the prospect in front of them or the lead in front of them or, whatever you might want to call it.
One of the things that's challenging, I think, for new folks, because of all of the things that you're told, because of all of the things that perhaps your upline is telling you, right? There's a lot of confusion about what value truly is and what someone genuinely might be interested in hearing and what actually might be beneficial to them. I think that would be a great thing for you to touch on.
Right. So value means when, let's say that you come to me and you're like, let's say you're with Isogenics, right? And it's not the same company as mine. And you're like, hey, how can I build my business? How can I move it online, or how can I, do what you do? That's when you take some time, right, to either get on a Zoom or send them a blog post or something that gives them the tips on, how to do exactly what they're looking for. Instead of, when you're saying, what is value? Anything could be value, like a video that you do about, how to do a Facebook Live, for instance. Value could be a blog post that, you share that's from an affiliate company. It could be a video that you share from, even somebody from YouTube, right? It's all valuable information. It's what it's needed to help you as the prospect to build your business forward, regardless if you're in my company or not.
Mm-hmm. So what you're telling me is, if I said, Brandy, I've got a hot ground floor opportunity, that's probably not going to be valuable.
That's not value, no. Value would be helping them move forward in what they're already doing and finding their pain point, right? Finding their pain point and being able to solve it, find a need, fill a need kind of deal. So, yeah.
Got it. Now, tell me about working harder versus smarter, because a lot of people are going to be, this is a new skill set.
Right.
Attraction marketing, that is. There are quite a few things to learn, so you really do need to be efficient with your time so that you're actually implementing, taking action, and moving forward.
Right.
So what tips do you have to work
So
smarter?
tips on working smarter and not harder is do what's working for others instead of trying to reinvent the wheel or thinking, there's the model, mimic and make it your own, right? So you find something that's working and you're going to model, and then you're going to start to mimic it, and then you're going to start to make it your own, which is where you transition it into your own stuff.
So find something, and actually, full disclosure, I have had many a conversation where I was like, have you seen what Brandy's doing? Maybe you should try doing that yourself.
Maybe you should try doing that.
Because that's working.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick tip for everyone. I mean, really, look at the members of whether it's this community or another community, but look at the people who are doing what it is that you want to do and see specifically
right.
What and
doing. with everybody online, it's really simple to kind of look at what they're doing and start to model what they're doing, and then mimic it, and putting your own spin on it would be make it your own piece. So it's a progression. But you're right, when people try to go in and just reinvent the wheel or do whatever, they don't really know if it's going to convert or if it's going to work. But if somebody's already doing it and it's working, it makes sense to just pick that up, use it in what you're doing, and start to move forward with your business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Any final tips for folks? Any we have a little action item maybe for folks that like say they're kind of new and they want to get started and they're like, okay, great, like what's working? What's something that I can like start doing immediately?
What is working that you could do right now that would actually get your business farther than anything else is having conversations with people and going into it as a friend. And yes, you are networking with people, and you may feel like at first that you kind of have a hidden agenda, but as you understand giving value to others, you can have a conversation with somebody online or in Messenger. You probably getting friend requests from people. If you're not, you can reach out. You can look at their profile, see what they're into. You want to start building your warmer market, I guess is what I want to call it, with people that you would want to work with, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're ever going to work with you, but if you surround yourself with people that, they can see your lifestyle, they can see you traveling, they can see you at No Excuses, and you can have a conversation with them. Just like you would if you met somebody at a bar or at an event like this, right? You have a conversation. How many kids do you have? Where do you live? The same kind of thing, and building relationships and not having a hidden agenda or not looking for that where you can drop your link on your, on them, just like all of a sudden, hey, Andrew, can you enroll, would you enroll in my business kind of stuff, right? Like, and being a human being instead of a human spam bot, you're going to be a human being, which is, where it all starts. And building relationships, even though you're building offline or online, it all boils down to that relationship with people.
Yeah. I think that's, of course, one thing, even someone that sort of understands the concept of value and solving problems, sometimes they want to, develop that relationship, so I would say a little bit too quickly.
Right.
And so you mentioned kind of, let's work on be human, warm that relationship up a little bit so that it's not like,
right.
The first time you're speaking with them, you're like, hey, here's some value.
Right. And, there are people that are taught in their companies to, just send cold messages, right? That just send out, find people that have a great big following and send a message, see if they'll look at what you're doing. And I get it, because our company teaches that same thing too. It's like the mass marketing, right? Teaching people how to reach out. And they're branding the company, I understand that. But when people do that, I actually just send them a real quick message and say, you know what? Thank you for thinking of me. That is fabulous. I'm glad that you're doing so well. I'm totally happy with what I'm doing now, but I do have a way that you could find the people you're looking for. Would you be interested in taking a look at that? It's free. Right? And then they say, well, yeah, right? Like, yeah. And then you can send them your lead magnet, like the bootcamp that, that we have here at No Excuses that we can use as an affiliate. And it works great. And here's the deal is that you are actually teaching someone else faster than they would have learned by doing that there's a different way, because the bootcamp solves that by sharing. You can share anyone's content that talks about teaching them how to build online the correct way, right? Mm-hmm. So.
And that's great. And what's nice is, obviously, it's such a, for you, it's such a low risk proposition
right.
to be like, here's a free resource that can help you, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can do that.
Yeah. And some people might not message you back when you say that, but most people are very apt to say, yeah, I would love for you to send me the link. So, and then what ends up happening, I just had a gal send me a message this morning. She's like, thank you so much for that bootcamp. I didn't realize that, this is not how people should be building their business. I was taught by my upline that this is how we do it. She's like, and it always felt really weird and spammy and inauthentic to me to just be sending out, right? It's kind of like you're walking down the street and I all of a sudden punch you in the face and I had no idea. You had no idea who I am, right? You're just like, whoa, what was that, right? Like, it's just not the way that's normal to create relationships. So yeah, be a human first. That would be helpful.
And you mentioned earlier coming and networking with folks here at No Excuses. And as you know, next year will be our 10th anniversary. So any tips or words of encouragement for folks if they're thinking about joining us?
Yeah, for sure. You're going to definitely want to be there because it is super important to network with people and really surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. Network marketing and building your own business, being an entrepreneur, it's hard enough already. So you need a support system, and No Excuses is a great place to find great people to build that support system with you. So
awesome. Well, Brandy, thanks so much.
You bet.